You won't believe what just happened live on air. Piers Morgan, the man who's never been afraid to stir royal drama, dropped a bombshell that left everyone, yes, everyone, speechless. In the middle of his show, Piers didn't just talk about Meghan Markle. No, he showed something that supposedly wasn't meant to be seen ever again. Viewers froze, producers panicked, and Meghan's team? You could almost feel the chaos brewing behind those palace-polished smiles. Because this time, Piers didn't come to rant. He came armed with what he called receipts, alleged photos from Meghan's old Soho House days, the ones that sources claim were buried years ago, the images that, if true, could shatter the entire fairy tale we've been fed about who Meghan Markle really is. People watching couldn't believe their eyes. One person whispered, "That's not the Meghan we know." Another muttered, "Where did he even get those?" Because these weren't glamorous red carpet shots. These weren't royal portraits or staged Netflix-style interviews. These were raw, private moments, snapshots from a time Meghan allegedly wanted wiped from history. And suddenly, the room filled with one question. If these photos are real, why were they hidden? For years, Meghan's story has been picture perfect. The struggling actress who worked hard, lived modestly, and somehow found her way into a prince's heart. It's the kind of modern-day Cinderella story everyone wants to believe. But these alleged images painted another version, a version that didn't stumble into royal life by luck. A version that looked like she was already standing right where the power players could see her. Because, let's be honest, not every struggling actress gets invited to Soho House private events. That's not where Hollywood beginners go. That's where the elite play the billionaires, the executives, the ones who decide who gets in and who stays outside forever. So how did Meghan back then, a small-screen actress from Suits, find herself inside that world, surrounded by people with influence far beyond her pay grade? That's where this mystery really begins to twist. To understand why these alleged photos matter, you have to know what Soho House really is. It's not a restaurant, not a hotel. It's a fortress of exclusivity. Members-only clubs scattered across the globe, guarded by quiet rules and even quieter gatekeepers. You can't just buy your way in. You need someone powerful to open that door for you. Even celebrities like Kim Kardashian and Kobe Bryant were reportedly turned away. And yet, Meghan, then a mid-tier actress, had access to multiple Soho House locations. Toronto, London, New York, you name it. She didn't just visit, she belonged. Prince Harry himself admitted in his memoir that Meghan called Soho House her headquarters. She kept luggage there. She knew the staff. She walked through those velvet rope doors like she owned the place. And that's when the gossip world exploded with one big question. Who opened that door for her? Because no one walks into Soho House by chance. Someone vouched for her, someone decided she belonged. Someone powerful wanted her there. And every clue points to one name that keeps surfacing in whispers, in old photos, in behind-the-scenes chatter. Marcus Anderson. Now, if you know Meghan's story, you've heard that name before. Marcus wasn't just a friend. He was the man behind the curtain, the global membership director for Soho House, the one who literally decided who got in and who didn't. And somehow, wherever Meghan went, Marcus wasn't far behind. Los Angeles, Toronto, London, New York, California, different cities, same shadow. That kind of loyalty doesn't come from a casual friendship. People don't rearrange their lives to follow a cable show actress unless something bigger is at play. Marcus was the gatekeeper, the man who connected stars to billionaires, models to producers, actresses to the kind of social circles that could rewrite their destinies. And somehow, Meghan was always in those circles, always one step closer to people with unimaginable power. And then comes another name, a name that makes this story even murkier, Christopher Jones. He claimed to have worked the yacht circuit during the very same years Meghan allegedly did. Not the vacation kind of yachts, the ones where business, influence, and whispers of opportunity blend under the summer sun. Now let's be clear, not every yacht story is scandalous. Sometimes it's networking. Sometimes it's socializing. But when you connect the dots, the Soho House access, the elite circles, the proximity to the world's richest men, things start to look less like coincidence and more like strategy. Because there's a pattern. Meghan moving in powerful circles before royal fame. Meghan seen at exclusive gatherings most people will never step into. Meghan forming ties with people who could change her entire trajectory. And when you look at that pattern, one can't help but wonder, was this all part of a plan? You see, Meghan has always been protective, some might say obsessive about her image. She's sued newspapers. She's demanded retractions. She's filed official complaints about interviews she didn't like. she doesn't let anything slide. So when Piers allegedly showed those Soho House photos on live TV, and Meghan said nothing, no lawyers, no denials, no angry public statement, that silence hit harder than any lawsuit ever could. Because when someone like Meghan, who fights every rumor, stays quiet, it makes people wonder, is silence a strategy or a sign? That silence became the loudest noise of all. Fans started speculating. Critics called it the calm before the storm. But days turned into weeks, and still nothing. No rebuttal, no legal team, just silence. And for a woman who once took a tabloid to court over a letter to her own father, this sudden calm didn't fit the pattern. It looked deliberate, calculated, like she decided that saying anything at all would only drag those photos further into the spotlight. And that's when the story stopped being just about gossip and became about truth. Because suddenly, this wasn't about who she married or what she wore. It was about what she'd worked so hard to hide. Let's rewind for a second to that night in 2016 when Meghan met Piers Morgan for drinks. Yes, before Harry, before Oprah, before documentaries and tell-all specials. Back then, it was just a friendly chat, two media personalities swapping stories. They laughed, shared drinks, exchanged numbers. Piers thought he'd made a new friend, maybe even a professional ally. But what happened next changed everything. The very next evening, Meghan didn't text him back. She didn't follow up. Instead, she went straight to Soho House to have dinner with Prince Harry. And from that moment, she vanished from Piers's world completely. No goodbye, no explanation, just radio silence. And when the royal engagement went public soon after, Piers finally realized he'd been ghosted the moment she met a prince. That sting public humiliation wrapped in polite smiles never really faded. Then came the Oprah interview, Meghan's criticisms of the British press, Piers's fiery reaction on live TV, the backlash, the walk-off, the end of his show. It was personal now. So when news broke that Piers allegedly revealed those old photos, people didn't see it as random revenge. They saw a man finally taking his shot, a man who felt betrayed, sidelined, and now armed with something explosive. And whether those photos were real or not, the impact was undeniable. For once, Meghan's carefully controlled image cracked. The flawless royal narrative started to tremble. Because if there was even a chance those images existed, if they hinted at a past that didn't fit her humble actress storyline, then the fairy tale suddenly looked like a very calculated screenplay. Observers began revisiting everything: the timeline, the introductions, the friendships, the moves from city to city, each one conveniently aligning with new opportunities. It started to feel like every chapter of Meghan's life had been rehearsed, like she'd studied each environment, adapted, and rewritten herself perfectly to fit it. On Suits, she was the charming, ambitious actress. In elite social circles, she was the graceful mystery guest who knew exactly how to hold attention. In royal life, she became the global humanitarian icon, poised, compassionate, and oh so relatable. Every phase flawless, every persona polished. And that's what made those alleged Soho House photos so disruptive, because they hinted that maybe, just maybe, this reinvention wasn't destiny. It was design. Those rooms, those connections, those parties, they weren't random. They were the foundation of the life she built later, piece by piece. And the more people looked, the clearer the pattern became. Even body language experts started comparing old interviews to Princess Diana's footage. The gestures, the soft eye contact, the hand placements, coincidence or deliberate mimicry? Because Meghan's story has always walked that line between admiration and ambition. Was she inspired by Diana, or did she study her? Did she fall in love with Harry, or was Harry the final chapter in a long, strategic climb through high society's inner gates? No one knows for sure. But what people do know is that the silence around those photos said more than any press release ever could. Because if Meghan wanted to bury her past, this was the moment it clawed its way back up. And this time, it wasn't a rumor on a message board. It was flashing live on national television, introduced by the man she once ghosted. Poetic? Maybe. Painful? Definitely. From the outside, it looked like a full-circle moment. The woman who once walked through Soho House doors untouched, now facing the echoes of those very halls on the world stage. But here's the thing. Truth doesn't vanish just because someone stops talking about it. It lingers in whispers, in screenshots, in questions that never quite fade. And that's what's happening here. The fairy tale still shines, but the edges have started to fray. Because now, people aren't asking, did Piers go too far? They're asking, why would Meghan let this story hang in silence if it weren't true? Every detail, the friendships, the travels, the exclusivity, the timing, it all ties together into something that looks a lot like intention. And maybe that's why this moment matters so much, because it's not just about one woman or one prince. It's about the illusion of perfection, the way public figures craft stories, erase chapters, and expect the world never to look behind the curtain. But once that curtain moves, even slightly, the light pours in. And once the light hits something hidden, you can never unsee it. So yes, maybe Piers's revelation wasn't about revenge, it was about revelation. The moment when the fairy tale version of Meghan collided with the forgotten fragments of her past. And just like that, the royal dream started to look a little more human and a lot more complicated. Because behind every perfect picture, there's a story that didn't make it to print. And this one, this Soho House chapter, might just be the story she never wanted told. And the irony? The woman once praised for breaking royal traditions might have been practicing the art of reinvention long before she ever set foot in Buckingham Palace. It's almost poetic. The same media that helped build her image is now the one peeling it back, layer by layer. Piers Morgan may have been the spark, but what followed was a wildfire of whispers, debates, and theories that refused to die down. People started replaying old interviews, listening for inconsistencies, rereading her speeches for hidden clues. Every smile, every carefully chosen word suddenly looked rehearsed. Some called it brilliance, an actress mastering her greatest role yet. Others called it manipulation. And through it all, Meghan remained silent. No statement, no rebuttal. Just that calm, deliberate quiet. The kind of silence that says more than 1,000 interviews ever could. Because maybe she knows the truth doesn't disappear, it just waits for the right moment to resurface. And perhaps Piers, for all his flaws, was the one bold enough or bitter enough to bring it up first. So whether you believe the photos or not, one thing's undeniable. The story isn't over. The fairy tale has cracked, and the truth, piece by piece, is finally stepping into the light.